Alright guys, so in today's video we have here something very interesting. We have here the latest Galaxy S25 Ultra and we are going to pit it against something like the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Now this is probably one of the most requested videos that I've seen in my comments lately. So we're going to do just that, and we're not going to go very over the top and talk too much about every single thing, but rather we're going to sum up things so it's a bit more straight to the point and more concise. Let's head over to the table so we can go close up and see the differences between these devices. Let's go. Alright guys, so now that we are at the desk, let's take a closer look at the differences between the Galaxy S25 Ultra as well as the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Now we are going to start off with checking out the prices, and for that we are going to make things quite equal, 12GB and 512GB of internal memory. Now it'll cost you RM6599 for the Galaxy device and it'll cost you just RM4599 for the Honor device. So naturally you can see that it's a 1,500 to 2,000 ringgit difference between the two depending on whether you buy the Samsung at a promotional price. But the differences between the price is massive between the two. Anyways, let's take a look at what else is different. Now in terms of the design, you can see that they are going for very different approaches. Over onto the Galaxy S24 Ultra, we have this traditional kind of look, which can identify it directly straight as a Samsung device. It's a little bit lighter than before, and we have here a very clean and minimalist look on the Galaxy S25 Ultra. I do like the look. It's a very boxy kind of feel over here, but it does get quite sharp as I've mentioned in my full review. Now moving over to the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Now this is going for a more curvy kind of feel, and I do find it even more ergonomic in hand. Now just holding it like that, it won't actually poke into your palm, it will not cause any pain to your palm for long periods of time, and it's actually a little bit slimmer compared to the S25 Ultra. You can see that if I put them side by side, the S25 Ultra suddenly looks very much more chunkier compared to the Magic 7 Pro, but it's in fact 5 grams lighter than this device. Now moving on, let's take a look at their cameras, because this is also where everything is very different. Now we're not going to take a look at the megapixel count, you're going to see them on your screens right now, but ultimately let me just sum up my experience very quickly in terms of the cameras. Alright, so for the Galaxy S25 Ultra, what you're going to get here is pictures that actually look very true to life. They are a bit flatter, but it's exactly what you would see with your own eyes. Now when we move over to the Honor Magic 7 Pro, now pictures taken by this particular camera here is a little bit more vibrant. Sometimes it might look a little bit brighter as well, and sometimes it might also look a bit more sharpened. Now one tiny thing that I want to mention here is actually about the zoom. Now I know a lot of people like to compare the zooms, and on the Honor device it comes with the AI Super Zoom, which actually allows you to capture even more detailed photos if they are taken at very far ranges. Now moving on to night photos, I would say both devices actually do hold up very well. They're both able to bring in a lot of detail with minimal kind of noise, but just in terms of brightening the image, the Honor is able to do a slightly better job compared to the Samsung. But yeah, very different kind of photo experiences on both devices here. Again, ultimately it comes down to your personal preference. Now moving on to the display at the front, things are again a little bit different over here. Now the Galaxy S25 Ultra is going for a more flatter display, and it's totally flat by the way, whereas the Honor Magic 7 Pro here goes for a little bit of a curve on the bezels. Now listen to that clearly, because it's curved on the bezels, and this actually helps you to go back and swipe very seamlessly. It's not curved on the display itself, so you won't really find any kind of color shifting on the Honor device. Other than that, the display on the Galaxy S25 Ultra is 6.9 inches compared to 6.8 on the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Now one really big difference between the two is actually in terms of the eye protection features, which Honor has already invested a lot of R&D in. We have that really awesome PWM dimming, very low flicker, circadian night display. A lot of tech has been put into the display itself to actually help you retain eye comfort after browsing your device for a very long time. So that is something that you can actually find on the Honor device. Now moving on to the next thing here, let's talk a little bit about the performance. Now the performance for both is actually largely the same. I would say that they're both using Snapdragon 8 Elite chipsets, with the Galaxy one having the extra 4 Galaxy feature. Now the difference in chipset doesn't really affect much in terms of the actual performance, but you can see here the main difference would be in terms of the software. Now the Galaxy itself is obviously using the One UI, whereas Honor here is using their own latest version of Magic OS. They both come with a ton of AI features, such as summarizing your documents, transcribing, translating, all those cool stuff that you can get on both devices. But one thing that I noticed about the Honor device here is that it doesn't just give you a lot of AI features, but it also puts in a lot of really nice touches to the UI itself. For instance, just check out this app over here. I have my Instagram app placed on the home screen, and I can actually set shortcuts directly on the screen based on the app itself. So YouTube also has that, my gallery, my camera, it all has shortcuts that can be added to each individual icon of an app, which is fantastic. Other than that, the Magic Portal 2.0 also makes things a little bit easier. For instance, you can just circle stuff up like this, and you can actually just drag it directly to the side here, which makes using the entire UI very easy to use. Samsung did mention that they'll be providing 7 years of software updates, whereas it's 5 years on the Honor device. But do you actually use your phones more than 5 years? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now last but not least, we have to talk a little bit about the battery as well as the charging. Now if you just look at these devices side by side here, now you would imagine that the Samsung device has the larger battery, but actually the Honor device here has the larger battery, and that's because it's using that carbon silicon technology, which allows Honor to actually put in a larger battery in a slimmer form factor. Now the good news here is that the battery life on both devices are actually great, but one big difference here is actually in terms of the charging, where it's significantly faster on the Honor device. Now it takes us 35 minutes to get to 100% compared to 58 minutes on the Samsung device. So that's just in terms of the battery lives as well as their charging. Definitely if you're looking for a faster charging device, it's going to be on the Honor. Now before we go, a final few things I want to mention here is actually in terms of the unlocking. Now on the Honor device, we actually have that 3D face unlock, which makes things a little bit more secure. This is just using your typical standard face unlock. And in terms of the fingerprint scanner, we have here the ultrasound fingerprint scanner, whereas it's just a standard one on the Samsung device, which might take a little longer to unlock compared to the Honor. One last final thing I want to highlight here is actually in terms of the speakers. I know not a lot of people have mentioned about that, but I did mention in my previous video that the speakers on the S25 Ultra is sounding a little bit tinish, whereas it's a little bit more richer on the Honor device. So if you're going to be watching TikTok videos or Instagram reels without connecting an external pair of headphones, the sound will actually sound better on the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Alright, so there you have it, the main differences between the Galaxy S25 Ultra as well as the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Now the ultimate question here is, which one should you pick? Now let's first take a look at the Galaxy S25 Ultra. In order to even consider this device, you first need to have a very high starting budget of at least 6,000 ringgit. Now once you have that money, you'll be happy to get a very nice device over here, one of the best from Samsung. Very minimalist design, a boxy nice look that I like as well, although it's a bit sharp on the edges, and you also get that fantastic display at the front with those very minimal bezels. Although the cameras are pretty much the same as last year, but it still provides a very good decent kind of photo experience, and it looks very true to life. Finally, we also have the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy chipset, which provides a very good overall experience. Now let's move over to the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Now things are a little bit more different over here. While you're still getting the flagship experience, all you need to do is get a starting budget of RM4599, which is significantly lower than the S25 Ultra. Now for that kind of money, you're still getting a flagship experience on here. You're going to get that very strong cameras at the back, the Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset, which is arguably the same kind of performance that you're going to get on the 8 Elite for Galaxy, and you get a very nice display at the front with that added eye protection functions. Other than that, you also get a very large battery with that even faster charging, which is again going to make things a little bit more convenient. Now ultimately, it's really down to your own pick whether you will get the S25 Ultra or the Honor Magic 7 Pro. I would love to hear what you might actually pick, so do comment down in the comment section below, choosing which device, the S25 Ultra or the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Let me know what you think. For me, I might probably save some money and just go with the Honor device. But with that said, thank you for watching today's video all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Do take care, stay safe, and bye bye.